Okay, good morning, students. Today we can start with that is a dependency injection. So it is under in the specification of EJB. So this dependency injection is one type of annotations. So we are using in the EJB the version 3.0. So when you go for the EJB 3.0 specification, so they provide some of the annotations which can be applied on field or a method, nothing but a setter method or a getter method to inject the dependency. So this is, we can call it as a dependency injection. So when the EJB container, nothing a database containing, so this database we have to using some of the a global Java naming dependency injection. We have to register it to locate the dependency. So these are the concept we are using. Some of the annotations are using in EJB, that is the dependency injections. So in the dependency injection, some of the following annotations are used in the EJB 3.0 for using the dependency injection. So one is then at EJB. So when you go for the annotation symbol, we are using at symbol. So at symbol, we can call it as an a annotations. So there are two types of dependency injection in the EJB 3.0 specification. One is the at EJB. And the second one is an at resource. You can see that in the PPT. So at EJB is used to inject other EJB reference. So it's nothing but it is reference to the one inject to the another inject of EJB. That is the first. That is the reference to one another by using the dependency injection at EJB. The second one at the resource. So what is the use of annotation of at resource? It is used to inject the data source or a singleton service like the session context or the time service or concurrency or a security purpose. So these are the example of using at resource. So at EJB is one to another EJB reference, and the at resource is used to inject a data source. Data source is nothing but a coding. Whatever you write in the EJB, the coding we can call it as a data source, or also we can call it as a singleton service. So singleton service, that is a duration. So by using this session context or the time server management, at time management and concurrency. So these are the example of using at resource. So this is the two type of annotations are used in the EJB 3.0 for dependency injection. So we can go by one. What is the use of annotation at EJB with an example, and what is the use of using at resource annotations with an example. The first one, we can see that at use EJB. So how the at EJB will use, you can see that in the definition. So it will be apply for the fields and as well as the method. So first, so at EJB can be used on the fields and as well as the methods, the following in the manner. So this is a example how to use the dependency injection on field, and second one, dependency injection on method. So these are the two manners to write the EJB source code by the use of dependency injection at EJB reference. So one for the reference to the field and another is reference to the method, one method to the another method, or one field to the another field of EJB. So you can see that in the coding, that is a source code, we can call it as, and this is a source code. So you can see that I have to take a library message bin. This is a class name. I have to declare as a public, and that should be implement the message listener. So that can be, we can using for the field. So that is a dependency injection on field. So how will be written? You can see that at EJB. So this is one type of annotations at EJB is reference for the field. So how will be written? So library persistency bin remote library bin. So this is a syntax we have to return. So in that case, I have to return a library message bin is a class name that should be implemented by using the message listener. So library message bin, it containing a one field that should be implemented in the message listener by using the at EJB. Okay. So in second one, we can see that is a dependency injection on method. So one is the field and another is the method. How will be written? So at EJB, that is annotations, I can using bin name is equal to example, I can return com tutorials point dot stateless dot library persistency bin. So this is an example of the one class to the another method of using a library persistency bin. So how will be written? So public void set library persistency bin, it is a method. I have to reference to the another by using this dot library bin is equal to library bin. So this is by using to reference at EJB for the dependency injection on a method. So these are the two types of at EJB we are using to inject other EJB reference. And we can go for the second one, that is an at resource. So it is used to inject the data source, or we can using as a singleton service like contest timer service, etc. We can go for this one. So you can return at resource is a normally used to inject the EJB container and provided the singletons. So how will be written? Just you can return as an at resource. I can implement it as a class library message bin is a class can be implemented by the message listener. So we are using at resource. So message driven box, that is a message. I can declare as a private in the message driven contest MDC. MD contest. MD is nothing but a message driven contest. So this is an example. We have to using two types of annotation by using at EJB and at resource. And you can go for the application. So we can create a test like a EJB application to test the dependency injection service in the EJB. So there is a 5 steps is there, and how the step will be created by using the description. So first step, we have to create a project name. So I can in the project name under that is the EJB component is there. So in the EJB component under we have a package. The package example I have to take on the com tutorials point dot timers. It is a package containing the sum of the component of EJB component and the name of the project we have to create. As explained in the EJB, then we have to create the application. So when you create the application, so we have to using the bin, whatever you created, that is a message driven bin, and it is keep rest of the file is unchanged. So we have to store the message driven in a project name, that is the EJB component under a package. Then first we have to clean. So you should write the source code, then clean and build that particular project application and make sure that this is a business logic is working as per the requirement. Then finally, we deploy that particular application by using the jar file on JavaBoss application server. Once the JavaBoss application server is deployed, they will get started automatically if it is not started yet. So default automatically started is yes. In case you are not started, automatically it is started once the jar file is complete on the JBoss application server. So this is the EJB application to test the dependency injection service on EJB. So lastly, we are create the EJB client. So whatever you write in the console based application, so EJB will create the application chapter under the topic is create client to access EJB. Once the EJB application will tested the dependency injection service in EJB, finally we have to create the client to access the EJB. So this is, we can call it as the example of application to create the EJB application and to test the dependency injection service in EJB. So this is, we can call it as a dependency injection. And next we can go for the concurrency. So what is mean by concurrency? So assuming a service is represented by one instance or dependency injection alone is a fine solution for the single thread application. So we can use the client maybe accessing the row source at a given time. So concurrency is nothing but an absolute duration of the performance. So I have to access some resource from our database. So we have to assuming whatever the service is represented or whatever the dependency injection is alone, or we are using a single thread application. So we can, a very good time duration will be represented by using the concurrency. However, it becomes a problem in situation where a centralized service is fit to serve many simultaneously requests, because the server will automatically centralized to fit one after the another. The one resource will be over, then only the next service will be automatically simultaneously the request will act. So in that case, the series, the whatever the simultaneously series of effect is upon performance we have to consider. So the specification allows for this configuration. We can using some of the cases. Otherwise, it is important to be aware how each component type will be concurrence. So what is the summary of this concurrency means? When you accessing the some of the information or some of the source from our the database will accessing simultaneously or centralizing service to fit some of the time duration. So we'll see that what is the effect on performance to consider the one particular configuration in concurrency concurrence. So this is a concept. So just you can say that assuming a service is represented and will access in the given time. That is, we can call it as a concurrency. And the second, next one, we can go for the instance pooling and caching. So what is the pooling and caching of using in the EJB service? So means, so simultaneously the server will act the request. So one by one, the request will send to the database. So in the database, the service will completely, one service will execute it, then only go for the next request. That is the complete requested. So you can see that in the diagram. So many of the requests will send to the server, nothing but the service will act this one. Once the request will over, then only it completed the first request. So simultaneously, the next request will act. So this is, we can call it as that is the instance of polling and caching. So you can see that. So because of some of the strict concurrency rules enforced by the container is nothing but a database. So in the database, some of the restricted to be rules to be enforced to act like one by one. So, and intentionally, there is a battle log of an introduced where the service instance may not be available for processing until other request has completed. So the main agenda is, so there is a series of requests available in the data service to the act as a database. So we have to restrict the rules. So one by one, if the first request will complete it, then only the next request will be act. So all the subsequent requests would have in a queue up until their turn was reached. So this is, we can call it as in the instance polling and caching. So later we can see that in the next diagram, that is what is the basic of pooling. So in the EJB, we have this stored in an memory the data and will cache, and they are not very different from database connection pooling. So we can think of it as a simple object pool managed by the EJB container. So it is the very easiest way to access whatever the stored in the database. So we have to connecting a pooling. So this is very simple object pooling managed by the EJB container. So unlike other features, there are no explicit annotation which affect instance pooling capability of the session bin. So there is no explicit annotations are introduced to connect our database connecting pooling. So in fact, these are configured by the vendor specification manner. Vendor specification manner, nothing but the client will using mainly for non-portable annotations or the development descriptors. For an example, you can go for the WebLogic ejb.xml in the WebLogic region. So we can briefly explain how the pooling will work in this website. So there is a common pooling parameter is there. One is the initial limit. Second one is an upper threshold. And the third one is a lower threshold. So these are the three common pooling parameters we'll use in our EJB container. So different application server or the EJB container, it provides the various tuning parameter. So tuning parameter is nothing but so one application will be using some of the rules to access the database. So there is a different application server is there. So we have to configure of this type of features. So there is a commonly used in the pooling parameters. One is the initial limit. So what is initial limit means? It is a configure the number of bean. It should be, excuse me, which should be ready in pooling initially. Means the initial, nothing but the start of the application. So we can set the limit so that the configure number of bean, we should be ready for the starting of the initial limit in the EJB container. So this is a one type of parameter we have to sending. So second one, that is an upper threshold. So upper threshold means, so in the database containing some of the information, so we have to setting up the maximum number of bean, whatever the stored in the bean instance. That is, we can call it as an upper threshold. Then what is lower threshold? So the EJB container, that is a database, the pool count will never fall below this value. Means there is never come the lesser than whatever you give the initial limit. So it is by using that is service level agreement. Means we have to fixing how the EJB container pool count will never fall the whatever you specify the value in the below value. That is, we can call it as an SLA. So SLA is nothing but a service level agreement. So whatever you mention the initial limit, so then only it should be executed. So these are the three common pooling parameters will use the EJB container to provide, to access the information. So I have to using this parameter configure to help by using this common pooling parameters. And what are the benefits of using this instance pooling? So benefits is nothing but first one is scalability. Second one is we have to improve the performance. And the third one is automatic resource management. So these are the a key factor or key provide or the key feature of EJB to benefit of using instance pooling. So go by the first one, that is scalability is nothing but when the pooling size can be turned as per the load and volume. So depending upon the container of the database load, by using the parameter by load or volume, so we have to scalability. The second one, we have to improve the performance. When you using the scalability, it can use a heavy, especially for pre-initialized instance provide significant. Means the pre-initialized instance will give some of the performance benefits using the running time, so that they have the bean have complex or expensive initializing logic. Nothing but it can, when you using this type of performance, so the pooling of benefits will improve. So that the second benefit is improve the performance. And the third one is automatic resource management. Means the ability to tune the upper or lower pool threshold, nothing but a maximum and minimum value, whatever the load will be containing. Means we can tuning that ability to help regulate the source consumption by the EJB pool. So automatically, once we have to fix the maximum and minimum value, so the resource consumed by the EJB pool. In that case, the automatic resource management will be the benefits of using the instance of pooling. And we can go for some of the characteristics of core EJB component. So this is very important. So in the examination will ask, so what is pooling and catching, and explain the characteristics of pooling of using core EJB component. So component is nothing but an stateless, stateful, message driven and singleton. So these are the a component of EJB. So this component will act the characteristics of using pooling. The core EJB component defining annotation implicity. So we'll have some pooling characteristics will associated with them. So all through these have been covered in one of the previous section. We have to quickly recap how the EJB components of using characteristics in pooling. The first one is an at stateless. So when pooled bean, which do not store the state between the client innovation. So there is no store the initial instant or the client innovation. The second one is a stateful, means when you're storing the sum of the specific data in the client side, the memory by the container, and it is passivated, we can disk or we can destroy it as per the user defined policy. So depending upon the stateful, so the database of the information can be passivated in the disk or destroyed. And the third one is a message driven, is nothing but it is asynchronous message. So the consumer, which similar to the stateless EJB sense, the pooled component which do not stored between the innovation. Message driven means we can store the message asynchronously so that the consumer can access the bean that should be in the stateless EJB. Finally, that is at singleton, means it represented only a single memory in EJB instance. So it is not a pooled component like any other counterparts. So these are the characteristics of EJB component. So this is by using the instance pooling and catching. And the transaction. So I can stop here today. So tomorrow we'll start with what is transaction, how the transaction will contained by using the managed transaction and bean managed transaction. Example, then you can go for the security. Example, timer. Example, how to use the steps to use in the timer. Okay, I can stop here today. So tomorrow we'll start with the at 11:50. Any doubt?